Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Let's chit chat about another wedding story. If you are new here, I have over a decade of experience in the wedding industry in the area where I am at. I have been both a wedding planner slash coordinator as well as a florist. I actually started both of those companies with a girlfriend. Eventually, I decided that wedding planning was not for me. So my friend and I kind of split the company down the middle. I took the floral component and went off and did my own thing, and she took the planning component and went off and did her own thing with that. And that has worked out really great for both of us. Currently, I am actually not actively working in the industry because, quite frankly, I need a little bit of a break from it. It is not an easy industry to work within for a lot of reasons. Maybe some days I will get into all of the pros and cons. But yeah, so I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. I have shared a few stories now. If you missed any of them, I will link them in the cards up above, wherever the cards may float, and I will also link them in the description box down below. A lot of the stories so far have kind of revolved around cake and wedding guests. But today's video is going to revolve around a DJ. So just like with wedding guests, I feel like when it comes to wedding vendors, weddings either bring out the best or the worst in vendors. I have worked with a lot of fantastic vendors in the area where I am located. So many wonderful people who are just such hardworking people, right? Like they just want to make every couple's day special and unique, and they go out of their way to basically go above and beyond and make sure that everybody's wedding is their dream come true, right? Like there are those types of vendors. And then there is the type of vendor that I'm going to talk about today, which is they can do a really great job. I've seen a lot of vendors do a really great job. And then they can also just bomb sometimes, right? And like everybody has ups and downs. So this is not one of those situations where this is like the only time that I've ever really noticed something kind of odd about this particular DJ company. And so I wasn't entirely surprised when this happened, but I was also like, whoa, the audacity of this situation is just wild. Okay, so this particular wedding, fun fact, this couple actually just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. I saw that on Facebook yesterday. I am still friends with a lot of my former clients, especially the ones who I planned their weddings with alongside them as like their planner and day of coordinator. When you spend that much time with someone, you're bound to, if you have things in common, kind of build a little bit of a friendship. I tried to always keep it very professional until after the wedding because I never wanted my clients to not be able to come to me with concerns. I think when you're friends with someone, it makes it a little bit harder for that person to then come to you with constructive feedback or certain requests. And, you know, these people were paying me. So I wanted to make sure that the relationships just were very professional, at least until after the wedding. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't, you know, friendly with my clients during the process. So the ones that I felt a strong connection with, we just kind of stayed in touch after. And this particular couple celebrated their 10 years yesterday, and they are such a lovely couple. I've watched them over the last decade, and I think this is one of the ones that for sure I think is like in it for the long run, right? Like I have a few where I'm like, but this one, I think they're in it for the long run. So anyway, happy anniversary to them. Okay, so this wedding happened back in 2013. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of the logistics background because I think it's kind of a part of the story. So let's get into it. Okay, so they hired a DJ, and they actually hired this DJ before we came on board to finish the rest of the planning. They had picked out about half of their vendors, And then there were a few other vendors that they wanted help with selecting and, you know, like stuff like that. So for example, I also did their florals. So I helped them with planning and florals. This was actually one of the reasons why I needed to walk away from the wedding planning part of the company, because I still had a lot of responsibility over there. Flowers are a lot of responsibility. And so I just couldn't do both. And this was a wedding where I was doing both. And a lot of weddings that I had from, I would say, 2010 to 2014, I was doing both planning and florals for. Eesh, like that's tough. That's a lot of work. So that was one of the main reasons why I stepped away, in case you're wondering. But anyway, so their wedding was at a venue in downtown Portland, and their ceremony was up at Washington Park at the Rose Garden. It's beautiful. If you ever visit Portland, highly recommend going up to Washington Park. It's a really lovely place. You can do weddings up there, so they chose to have their ceremony up there. This particular bride is originally from England, and this was like before all of like the Bridgerton stuff, you know, but she wanted a very beautiful, like English garden type wedding. And so the Rose Garden fit in with that theme, and she wanted a small string quartet and not a DJ for the ceremony portion. So they didn't want any type of recorded music. They wanted live musicians with string instruments specifically. So we got a great quartet that was up at the ceremony venue, and it was gorgeous from what I heard. I was not up there for that portion of the wedding. My assistant at the time was actually up doing the coordination for the ceremony portion. I was back at the venue downtown getting everything ready, welcoming all the vendors. So it got to be about an hour and a half before everyone was due to arrive at the venue downtown. By this point, all of the vendors should have at least arrived, and if not begun their setup, be finishing their setup. This particular venue was not one where it would be easy for guests to arrive at the same time as vendors, because there was only one set of doors that led into the venue at the front of the building, and there was no way for anyone to kind of sneak in through the back, if you will, if they arrived late. So everybody was there. Catering, florals had already been set up because I did all of that. Like everything was perfect with the exception of the fact that we didn't have a DJ. And I was just like, well, I've worked with this company before. Maybe he's just stuck in traffic. I will call this DJ. Now, what you need to know is that there was a DJ company, the owner of which I had worked with a few times before, and he had several DJs underneath him, right? Like he basically hired, I think a lot of these people were his friends, but they were professional DJs. They had all the equipment. And so we were assigned this one DJ underneath head DJ. So we will call the DJ that was supposed to come to our wedding, we'll call him Jason. Good generic name. Head DJ, we'll call him head DJ. Okay, so the week of, I used to always send out the timeline for the day of. As like the planner, I created the master timeline and disseminated all of that information to all of the other vendors. So my job every Monday was to send out the pretty much finalized timeline, but to give vendors a couple of days to take a look at that and then request any changes. And then I would send out the master timeline the Thursday before the wedding on a Saturday. So a couple days before the wedding, the final timeline went out. And so I know that this DJ got all of the emails because I was the one sending them. I saw his name, we'll call him Jason at blah, blah, blah.com. So I knew he was receiving the emails that I was sending about this particular event. And even early on in the process, when we were assigned Jason, he was like, hey, it's Jason. I think we've worked together on one wedding before. Looking forward to working with you again type of response. You know, I really enjoy this particular couple, yada, you know, the frickin' small talk. So I know he was well aware of this wedding. He was aware this wedding was happening. So I call him and he doesn't answer. And so I leave a message and I'm just like, hey, Jason, it's Melanie, blah, blah, blah. I'm at this and this venue. I had you on the schedule to arrive at 2 p.m. for setup. We're about an hour and a half before guests are due to arrive and you're not here. I know you have a lighting setup. This dude was not just bringing his DJ equipment. He was also bringing professional lighting. He was going to light the place. It needed it. It was one of those types of venues, right? So he was going to come with a lighting package. And I know how long it takes this stuff to set up because at this point I had been doing weddings since 2009. I'm very familiar with how long it takes for these different types of configurations to go up. So I leave this voice message and I'm just thinking like, oh, maybe he's stuck in traffic. He'll call me right back. About 20 minutes go by, still haven't heard from him. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give him 10 more minutes and then I'm going to try him again. And I'm also going to send a text just, you know, just in case. So another 10 minutes go by, nothing. So I send a text and I follow up with another phone call and I'm like, hey, so we're just about an hour from the bride and the groom coming back to the venue with all the guests. When are you going to be here? You know, I really need to get you into this building with all of your equipment. I can keep the guests downstairs in the lobby until you finish your setup, but I need you to get here before the guests arrive. And so I'm saying all of this in my voicemail. I also said it in text. Nothing. I hear nothing from this person. So then I'm like, crap. I call head DJ and I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Jason's not here yet. I know he's doing a lighting setup. I know he has a pretty extensive DJ setup. Do you know where Jason is? He needs to get here. We have an hour before the bride and the groom are due to arrive. And head DJ says to me, Jason's in Bend this weekend. He took like a 400 person event over at this ranch that's in Eastern Oregon. And that's where he is this weekend. And I was like, oh, no, he's not. Jason is due at such and such venue in downtown Portland, not in Eastern Oregon. Like he knows this wedding is happening. I've been sending him the timelines. I've been telling him if he needs to request any changes to let me know. The bride and groom have paid you for Jason. They pay the head DJ, right? Like it all goes through the company. Like he funnels and pays his employees. And head DJ goes, oh, well, we'll just have to go ahead and give you a refund because I sent him to do this 400 person wedding in Eastern Oregon and that's where he is. So I'm not going to have him come back. Right? Like this man says this to me on the phone and I was like, do you have another DJ you can send with a similar lighting package? No, it's a busy weekend. Of course it is. It's a Saturday in June. It's a Saturday in June. Of course it's a busy wedding weekend. What do you mean you're not going to send another DJ? Like this is actually what I'm saying to this man on the phone. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you, but he's at another event and I'm busy. Like I'm out with my family. So I'm just going to have to give you a refund. I can send them like a check tomorrow. And I was like, that's not the point. And he goes, do you have an iPhone? And I said, yes, I'm talking to you on one. And he says, well, then play some music on your iPhone. I am not a DJ. Of all the things that I feel like I'm really good at in life, like I think I'm pretty good at makeup. I'm good at making flowers. Pretty good at being organized. I'm fairly decent at remembering events that I'm supposed to be at. But one thing I am not at all is a DJ. This venue did not have speakers. This venue had nothing. Like it's a beautiful old venue, but not outfitted with any type of modern amenities. It's not like I could just plug my phone into like some stereo system that like is pumped throughout the building, right? Like, and all I have on my phone, I mean, like I had Pandora, like with ads. I still have Pandora with ads. Like, no, I'm not playing music at this wedding. Oh, you guys, he just was not going to send another DJ. So what did I do? Okay, so first of all, I literally called someone who I knew, who could do some basic DJing, had some basic DJ equipment, and I was like, hey, you know, I don't know how much this job is gonna pay. I'm gonna have to talk to the bride and groom. Their DJ's not showing up. Are you busy? Can you please, man, do me a favor? Mr. Man came through and did an amazing job. They did not have the lighting set up, obviously, that they were hoping to have, but they had a DJ with professional equipment, someone who's pretty darn good at the job. This person had a full-time job. Like, they just did a few gigs here and there for like friends and family, but they had, you know, all the proper stuff. So anyway, bride and groom show up. I do have to fill them in on the fact that the DJ is not coming, that they should be expecting a refund, and that if they do not get that refund ASAP, to please let me know that I would help them get that. They were super grateful to the DJ and actually paid that guy the exact same amount that they were going to pay this fancy DJ company who, I don't know, I guess they had better things to do, better paying gigs in Eastern Oregon. So they paid the replacement DJ the same amount and also gave him a $500 tip. So moral of the story is, please be very careful when selecting your vendors. This is another reason why I think it's so important, if you can afford it, if you have it in your budget, if you can make room, to have someone who has experience, i.e. a planner or a coordinator, who can really help you maybe select vendors that have a good track record, a good reputation. Anyone can fake a review on their website. Anyone can pay other people to leave reviews on their website. Yeah, like, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, you can go up based off of friends' referrals, right? But like, you don't necessarily know. The people who do know are those that are typically in the industry and have seen these people working multiple times. I mean, I had weddings every weekend, every summer. I also had weddings like in the off season as well, but for the most part, every single weekend was booked with weddings. I worked with a lot of different vendors. I had worked with head DJ multiple times, typically pretty good at what he does, a little bit pompous, if I'm gonna be honest, but you know, like, definitely was decent at his job. Had a lot of employees, clearly had a large company. I actually don't know if this company is around anymore. I would not be surprised if they are not, just based off of the track record. But yeah, just pick your vendors very, very carefully and make sure that you send out that final timeline and get confirmation. Get confirmation from your vendors that they're gonna show up, because this guy didn't. He just was not gonna show up. He had better things to do. Anyway, you guys, that is an infuriating story from 2013. Let me know what other types of stories you'd like to see. I have a ton. Yeah, lots of vendor stories. I feel like there's so many great vendors that go above and beyond, but there's also some where you're just like, how are you still in business? How are you still in business? So anyway, there you go. I hope that was entertaining. Let me know if you guys have any funny stories, like I said, that you want to hear, and subscribe if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.